head to be the
Early
camera.
2000s at Lafayette?
On the camera.
2003.
You don't want to like look at.
Back of my bald, if I'm thinning out.
Yeah, right. Get home and check it out on YouTube and like,
There
I
was
didn't
two
realize
people
When I watched
I was, I had a bald spot.
Field conference, but one
And then it's just I
would
had
have been
it.
before you, the other one
One's
after.
after. I don't keep in touch with a ton of people. Jen.
We can move that.
I mean, I had a
sorry?
meeting last
Jen
night, so I just
Tompkins
kept
is
all
the
the
only
chairs
one
here.
I stay in
Yeah.
touch
Is
with.
that right?
Yeah, she's in
Kathy.
Minneapolis.
I think we have enough room. Maybe we can
Fine without me.
get another chair in here.
Been out the last 2 months, but I'm back. I haven't missed any votes, so. Uh-oh. Is that you? We have a new lost and found item. I got my mug back. I can't
But
leave
it
it.
has a name.
Hi.
Carol, I think, is the person
Good,
to
how are
talk
you?
to.
Peachy.
Nice.
G.E. Hollow, 31 years of service.
I bet.
Sounds fancy.
That's not fancy.
If I told you the truth, I'd be here for 3 hours.
Too fancy for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. The minutes.
Good, good, real good, 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 good. Good? You good? I'm good. Good, good, real good.
Okay, so let's begin by calling the roll.
Chad is
So we'll get on the right page. Chair Manosky, I'm here. Jennifer Helton.
Make sure the mics are on.
Don't drop it.
Is this on? Hello?
Okay.
It's very.
Laura Ray's not here yet. Alan Johnson. Here. Cheyenne Riemann. Kathy McGovern.
Here.
Chad Heimbecker.
Here.
Let's see, Janine Bonham.
Here?
Russ Sutton. Here. Winfield Clark.
Here.
And Carol Schneider is here. And our junior council member, Harry Visick.
Right.
Hello.
Okay.
Welcome back.
So I'm going to revisit Harry on the agenda here in a few moments, but let's do the Pledge of Allegiance and then we'll say something about Harry. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we had no executive session, and the next agenda item is to welcome Harrison Visick back to our committee. And just in case this isn't fresh in our memory, this will be Harry's second year participating in the junior council program on EAC. He's lived in the township since he was 3 years old and feels it is a privilege to live here. The community spirit, amazing quality of life, and the township's forward-looking approach are qualities about the Lower Saucon Township that have resonated with him and are what he loves most. Harry's a senior at Moravian Academy and is founder and co-president of the Finance and Economics Club, a team member and co-captain of the varsity boys tennis team, second chair cellist in the school's orchestra, co-president of the Asian Student Association, and a National Merit semifinalist. He's an advocate and mentor for cochlear implant candidates through Advanced Bionics, an ambassador and member of the newly formed Cochlear Implant Support Group in the Lehigh Valley. Harry's grateful for the opportunity to support this community and township and looks forward to continuing to work with the EAC members this year. So welcome back, Harry.
That's
Yes.
impressive. That's impressive. Good for you.
And I guess the bad news is you're a senior, so we will be losing you after this
Yeah,
year.
really.
So at any rate, it's good to have you here. Thank you. Okay, moving forward with the agenda, Open Space Subcommittee. A couple of things to report. So you may recall at the last meeting, there was a conversation about the three properties we recommended to council to include in open space. One of the holdups was that when the individuals applied, they didn't make clear if there were going to be any restricted use areas that they wanted to, or envelopes that they wanted to keep out of open space, or what exactly of the parcel they wanted to submit to open space. It was a strange month insofar as I emailed the three people multiple times. The first property that we scored, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, I think it might have been 2024 #1, but he was reasonably quick in responding. I passed that information on to the township manager. And then literally I heard from, and the other two were groups of people, so I sent emails to multiple people, which I thought would elicit a response, and maybe it had the opposite effect, and each person assumed someone else was gonna respond. So I had to push the buttons a few times. What I learned yesterday was the one property, they are gonna perhaps put an envelope of 2 acres to allow a friend to buy the property and build a house there. And so he's meeting with the developer over the next, I guess tomorrow is the day now, and then they'll delineate that, and that'll get forwarded to the township manager. And then the other individuals, you might recall this place was the place we had the quick downpour on us when we were there. They want to put the entire property in open space. So I called Kathy today, but we went back and forth. Kathy Gorman, the township manager, we didn't connect today, so I'll pass that information on to her tomorrow, and then we should be able to move forward. Okay. So no new applicants. Kathy did draw my attention to a person who they think might be coming forward with a reasonably substantial parcel of land to consider, but that hasn't come to fruition yet, that application. So that was the open space report. Developer items. We have 2 developer items. One was the review of the H&I Strauss Avenue reverse minor subdivision. Let the record show, Carol, that Laura Ray arrived.
6:37.
And the first development item was one of removing a property line. So I don't believe there to be any environmental issues with that. If anybody has anything, this is the time to say something about it.
I couldn't see it. So is that what it is, or
It must be this one here.
That one there.
and it's just moving?
It's combining the 2 lots. There's 2
Yeah,
lots.
2 lots are side by side.
Yeah.
There's no water,
Yeah, there's nothing.
so if there's any trees on them, they'll still be part of the bigger lot.
So it's a good thing.
And it's right over here near the winery, Black River, somewhere around there.
Oh, I've been wanting to go there.
So we had a winery.
It's right there.
Music looks pretty
I've
good.
driven by it a couple times, yeah.
We had a
Purple
winery.
building.
Did you know?
No. No, I did
How
not.
many years have I lived here? Oh, that's right, my whole life.
Okay, if there are no issues with that, we can move to the other property, which is a more substantial piece of property, and it's actually a development proposal. I'm assuming everybody was able to see the documents that came with the call to meeting. There are larger scale plan view maps here, if anyone wants to look at them. And this particular development project is on Litchfield Road. It's directly across Litchfield Road from the Giant supermarket, and the parcel's a triangular piece. So that whole piece of real estate is bounded by roads on each of the 3 sides. And that's for a medical office development. And the property is zoned for that type of use. There are no, as far as I saw when I read through here, there were no variances requested. So having said that, I open the floor for conversation about that particular development proposal.
Well, one question I had was, they showed on the drawings ways to fix a sinkhole.
Right.
And did you look at these types of soils that they have on that property? Is any of it in the limestone?
They are,
stone
I didn't look at the soils themselves, but my educated guess would be to say they're Washington silt loams because it's carbonate rocks, and usually it's Washington soil series that sits on carbonate rocks.
CIB, I think, was one of them.
Okay, that might be a Duffield.
And a W something.
That W is most likely the Washington.
You say they are on the,
They're on limestone.
okay.
That site is on carbonate
All right.
rocks entirely, yes.
So,
And that's why they have the sinkhole repair plans, and notice that they had, I think there were at least 3 different approaches to repairing any, there were no identifiable sinkholes on the property. Those are standard contingency plans to say, should we encounter a sinkhole, here's the engineering approach we will take to stabilize it. And I would say this, that each of the 3 designs that they presented are standard practice, considered to be acceptable ways of addressing sinkholes. This is an interesting problem because there are sort of schools of thought. There are some engineers and geologists that prefer the reverse graded fill, which is one they showed that had, in each case, they plugged the so-called throat, where you get down to bedrock, and they plug it usually with cobbles, boulders, or even concrete pieces that are large enough that they can't pass through the throat. So in essence, they jam the throat up with that coarse material. If they want to maintain infiltration of water to groundwater, they reverse grade it and go from coarse to finer, selectively finer, 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 up to the surface to allow water to pass through. In other cases, I think it was the first, I could scroll down here, but I think it was the first mechanism or procedure they used for remediating was for an impervious surface, where they actually used flights of clay layers that were compacted, and then that would disallow water to infiltrate. Sometimes that's used when they're concerned about getting more water moving into the subsurface and maybe mobilizing other material at depth. And in many cases, it is literally a preference of one engineering firm versus another. Some like their graded fill, some prefer putting concrete in and the finer grain material. And I would say all of these things can work well, but there are examples out there of problems. If you drive Easton Road over the last 6 months or so, there's a sinkhole there that has an orange fence around it, and that's been filled in at least twice, and it's active again.
well, where is that on Easton Road?
Across from the warehouses, basically.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, so if you see the orange, it might be overly conservative on my part, but if there's no one coming the other way and I'm in that lane, I swerve over the middle of the lane because I don't want to be the car that breaks the camel's back. Because it's working its way towards the road by the look of things there. So anyway, these are all viable ways of trying to repair a sinkhole should they develop, and it's a requirement to have those contingency plans when you're developing on carbonate rocks.
Well, the other thing that I wanted to mention was, I heard, or you said, or something or other, that there's concerns about having on-lot infiltration on a lot where it's in a carbonate territory. And that's what they plan to do here, is have an on-lot, pit to put the stormwater into. So what do you think about that?
The issue with that is if it's designed properly, and if they evaluate for sinkhole potential under it, then the advantage of doing that is you're not generating runoff to the surface runoff. The other advantage is you are allowing for groundwater recharge. The assumption would be right now the way that, I think there's one house on that property. I Google Earthed it, and there's at least one building there. But otherwise, it's basically grass and trees and shrubs. So the assumption would be that that piece of real estate does experience groundwater recharge whenever it rains. And so I imagine what they're saying is, well, let's maintain groundwater recharge because they are putting a parking lot in that's by definition impervious surface.
So if they put water down into that basin, it'll eventually infiltrate down into the ground.
Yes. So that's a way of, a lot of people, a lot of engineers consider that a good practice because it is allowing for groundwater recharge. And, you know, to the extent that there is a potential when you concentrate water like that if there are solution voids in the rock that are plugged with unconsolidated material, that concentration of water could move that stuff and create a sinkhole. And then, of course, I think we know the answer. If there is a sinkhole, they're going to use one of these methodologies to stabilize it. So, again, it's one of those things, and it could create instability, but it doesn't have to. And so that puts you into the balance of questioning, well, do we want to continue to recharge groundwater and minimize stormwater runoff and risk maybe some instability? That's what you're left with. Even if they have a retention pond and release the water to the surface system, that still involves, for heavy rainfall events, water being stored in the floodwater retention pond for a period of time. And they're capable of creating sinkholes too, if there's solution voids under the retention pond.
And you know, there's a creek that runs through there.
Actually,
Is that
there
actual
isn't.
property?
There is not?
I checked it out, and the creek is much further south.
Oh, okay.
There's actually a house in between where they want to build the medical building and the lot where the creek is.
Okay, thank you.
I was concerned
I
about
didn't
that.
notice that either. so-
I'm okay. If it would have been on the property, they would have showed it.
Yeah. Kathy, are you?
I just want to make sure, I saw it, I want to make sure on the bigger view, the building's right up against the road, as I look at
The
it.
proposed building.
I mean, it's right up, the parking's behind it, but the building itself is right on Lightsville Road. So when you're talking about stormwater, it's a hill right there.
Well, they have,
It's like 3, 4, probably a little bit more than that. When you're looking across the street from Giant,
yeah, but
that's a slope.
they have it designed so that all the stormwater runs towards that underground.
But that's behind the building.
It's actually behind the parking lot that's on the north side of the building.
Yeah, they are back from the required right of way.
And they have,
Right.
we call them, grates in the ground, so the water runs down the grates. And then underneath the grates, there's pipes that connect those storm sewers together, and it all runs into that.
Yeah, if you
So
zoom
the
in, if you
question
zoom in on
is-
the map, you can look at the
Ground.
piping, the plumbing and stuff like that.
David.
Yeah, they show it along the road.
When I saw it, my concern was the water's gonna pool and go onto the road.
Well, I think that's part of what would have to happen on this expansion there, because there's gonna be a new turn lane, right? And I guess that's one of my questions that I have here. They talk about traffic. You know, that intersection handling 1,000 more vehicles on a weekday. Designated turn lanes addressed in here, safety improvements or anything like that as far as that intersection? What about pedestrian walkways along the roadside?
Yeah, it would be nice
with
if
a
they put
crosswalk.
something like that in, yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna,
Yeah, but that's,
Improve.
be careful, that's not what the EAC does. That would be with the planning.
Yeah, a lot of that. would
okay,
be under
well,
planning.
I'd like it on the record that I'm concerned about traffic and pedestrians.
Well, actually, the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission is pushing for more using bicycles
Right.
and sidewalks to get people to walk, exercise. And if somebody doesn't put them in somewhere, they'll never start putting them in. And you would think that this would be a good, being a health-oriented company, they would try to do something like that.
Is this gonna be an urgent care facility or something, or just
It's
A
doctors?
medical office,
St. Luke's Medical
like
Office.
specialists, that kind of thing.
We need an urgent care facility.
I would like to see that.
Does that
too.
have a separate turning lane to get
We don't
into
need
it?
more office space.
I'm
We
sorry?
need-
Does that have a separate turning lane to get into the property?
No.
I think the closest
There's
urgent care
an
that we have is
access
the one that's
lane
over on
there.
378, right?
That comes in from the south.
Is that the closest urgent care that we can get to, basically?
Coopersburg.
Yeah, the only entrance is from the south and the only exit is to the north, by the look of this.
Can't you go
As I
straight across?
recall,
looking
you
on
were
the
supposed to be able to go straight and then
straight
make a
across
left.
the street from the Giant?
It's not the
You go
Giant.
straight across.
No, I don't think so.
Giant.
Yeah, it looks
will.
like you
It's-
can go
you
straight
can
across
go-
from the Giant.
Yeah,
By
I
the
didn't-
cem-
I
by
didn't
the
understand
cemetery
all
was
those
gonna
things.
be-
Maybe you do.
This
Can't
is
go
her,
that way.
thank you,
So
I
they
didn't get
basically
it,
have
but
Oh,
so I
that's what we were
didn't
talking
have a
about
chance to
first.
look at
Four
this before.
lanes here, they're highlighted in gray. So this would be the Giant entrance, so there's
Yeah.
2 lanes there, which would allow ingress and egress. And then if you're coming in off of 412, you can only enter in from the southbound lane, and then you have to exit to the north.
Are those pedestrian crosswalks being shown there?
I don't think so.
Yeah, well, the Giant allows you to make a left or right turn. If you stop at the stoplight, you can make a left or right turn. So I would think it would be the same thing coming out of that medical office.
Yes.
Stoplight, you can make a,
Crossing over 412 that they don't do currently, and is that gonna be a
By the
designated
looks
turning
of
lane?
this, there's nothing to stop you from
I think we
coming
need to
out,
have one
collecting the
conversation,
light and
guys.
turning. Now, Alan, there, by the looks of this, there would be nothing to stop you if there's, to use that light to turn left, coming out of there.
yeah,
to
because
turn
that's what you
south.
can do with the Giant, yeah.
Yeah.
Chad, did you wanna look at the,
And I think maybe, I mean, just surmising,
zoom in and
if
see
I
there's a
were
road?
looking at this from a planning perspective, I wouldn't want
The Giant.
sidewalks or bike lanes down here.
Those
for the
crosswalks?
simple- On this side of the road in particular, for the simple reason that, just to the north there, and I have to look at this map, I guess it's Springtown Hill Road. That's a dicey intersection there.
Yes.
So to add pedestrian traffic,
It's a high-speed
Would not
road,
be a
there's no
safe-
doubt about it.
People walk across there all the time, though.
oh, they do, but I wouldn't encourage it by putting a sidewalk in or a bike lane.
Yeah, until somebody gets hit.
So anyway, did anyone have environmental concerns? There, note
it's-
that there are, on the north side of that property map, they do have areas with trees and so forth. So some of this real estate will have trees landscaped in.
Well,
Yeah,
it
this-
says that that has to be in here on site density, that the capacity calculations have been provided to indicate proposed impervious surface is within the allowable limit. Entail that development be limited to the currently proposed improvements in the existing wooded area to the north would remain undeveloped. So we're assuming that they're not gonna do any, I mean, that's part of this whole project. They'll never be able to build on that to maintain the hydrology requirements of the space.
I personally didn't have any concerns. I always concern myself when it's carbonate geology, but they have sensible sinkhole mitigation plans for it,
When you're
and it's
building,
Keystone Engineers, which I know they have
What-
experience dealing
What
with.
committee is responsible for traffic?
Planning would be the one.
Okay, when are
They
they
had their
meeting?
meeting last week.
Oh, okay.
And we should, and I was gonna bring it up as other business, someone from planning should be on this board as a liaison, that's part of our bylaws.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
then we could have deeper discussions to understand how their position was and what their concerns were. So when we look at it from an EAC, we'd have a better understanding. And we haven't had that for a couple of years, so I wanted to bring that up, so as
I understand.
other
You can
business.
Okay.
also write them emails, Chad, to the planning group and say what our concerns are.
What's that?
He can write emails, they're listed there with their emails. It used to be Craig Kalogi, but I don't know if it's
Ask
still
some
is.
questions.
Okay, does anyone have any, otherwise, I think the standard,
Traffic light coming out.
I'm sorry?
Would the township be responsible, so if you were coming out of that facility and going towards?
the microphone. It's, yeah, it's not gonna be a I need to transcribe this, and if I can't hear you now, I can't hear you.
Is that on?
So coming out of that, Diane Hollow.
So I think you can turn them.
the mic on? It's on, it just
Oh.
says talking.
Diane Hollow. So people coming out of that facility will be at a light and you would see straight across to Giant. Is that correct? You would
Yes.
exit that building that way. So
It
would the
appears
township
like that.
be responsible for that light, or is that a state road?
It's a state
So-
road.
Okay, that was my question.
I think normally in a case like this, what EAC chooses to do is say, we either have concerns and outline them for towns or for planning, or to say we don't have concerns. Does anybody have significant, and again, we should be taking environmental perspective on this and make our concerns environmentally based rather than something like, I'd prefer it to be a different health provider or something. That would be inappropriate, so. Does anybody have concerns that we should register that rise to that level?
What about, the lights, the light noise for the people in the back behind this development?
That's in the notes. I can't get mine to open, do you?
Did you notice anything anybody notice in the report whether that was addressed? I'm trying to scroll through.
Homes behind that development.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out, yeah, I know.
I'm not trying to overreach. These are just my concerns. So I'll take them to the appropriate committee.
Here's their comment. Lighting. They're gonna try to control
I
it.
have Google Maps here too, so
Yeah.
I think they're trying to look to see what houses were behind or something. So we have
I guess that's gonna get torn down.
yeah, it looks like the only house that's on the,
So that,
that's,
okay,
there's
lighting
the,
and landscaping.
so that right there is that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got
They're having lighting issues, light noise issues
Looks
with
like
the ballpark.
So it looks like that's.
So
gonna be
it's
painted
very
across.
much in people's minds right now. So, you know, you're just concerned, they might have evening hours or something like that in the, you know, there's a whole thing of homes back here. This is pretty generic
Yeah, they basically say they're gonna provide sufficient
with
lighting
township
for
ordinance
safety
requirements.
while simultaneously controlling spillover of lighting onto adjacent
And
properties.
how do you do that,
I
you know?
think their approach is with my guess would be the orientation or direction of the lighting. And as long as they're I assume, as long as they're maintaining the light direction towards the property
Yeah,
and not oriented out.
That
Is there gonna be a glow at night? I think that's inevitable.
I mean, if they use LED.
so we can request that, you know? Easton Road with the warehouses and all that, you know, that can be a problem. Oh, I'm sorry. Carol, I don't know the answer to this, but do the people that are behind this development, do they get like a notification, and did they have a chance to like participate in any kind of,
I believe within so many feet, they get letters.
but not like that street that's behind
I
that?
don't know how far out,
Yeah.
but I know that surrounding neighbors get letters within so many feet.
Right. 'Cause there are concerns, noise concerns and lighting concerns, you know, it's gonna change their homes and their
And I
norm.
couldn't even tell you if they've been coming to the meetings, I don't know
Yeah,
for planning
yeah,
or zoning, so
same.
I don't know.
I think the notifications are only if they need a zoning variance, and I'm not sure if there was any involved in this project.
Didn't it say that they fit everything without a variance?
They might have.
I don't think they were asking for any variances. were
They're
they?
not asking for a
So I
variance,
think
but
that-
it's still
that
gonna
triggers
impact.
Notification. I don't know that anything
And then you
else
see
does.
trying to tell.
And I think as a general rule of thumb, when these proposals are meeting all the ordinances and site development protocols and regulations,
Is this?
that's standard.
Yeah, well, I know what's going on with Hellertown and Sheets, and I know what, you know, some of the things that have happened in Lower Saucon Township, so, you know, you try to be a good neighbor, you know? Let them know, let them have some input, or be, you know, just be aware. You know, we recommend LED lights, you know, if it makes a better quality of life for them, then why wouldn't you?
Are you moving that we,
I make a motion that we be cognizant of the light noise that's gonna affect the Lower Saucon Township residents that are gonna be, adjacent to this property or close to this proximity, and we ask the engineering company to consider LED lighting for environmental purposes.
Is there a second to that motion?
I second.
Okay, and you got the motion, oh, it's recorded for you, Carol, is that correct? Okay. Janine?
I have a question. You said use LED lights as opposed to what else? Because LED creates more glow.
No, it's the preferred lighting. We just came from a EAC conserve, and a lot of townships and municipalities are now using LED, and you can do it in different tones.
It's all about how you direct the light, you know.
Right, but it's also an energy conservation, you know, it uses less electricity, it lasts longer, and they're promoting that.
I think the motion does focus on being aware of the light spillover and minimizing or avoiding that.
Correct.
So I think the engineers will come forward with a plan that, we're drawing this to the planning commission's attention.
Okay.
But they would have operating hours, probably have timers that would shut off the lights at a certain time.
Is it 24
Yeah,
hours?
but they keep security lights on, like that's what happens on Easton Road. You know, the office, it closes at 5, but the lights stay on in some places 24/7, because they're security lights.
Well, the Giant Center already has light.
They do, but the homes aren't behind Giant, but they will be behind this medical facility,
It's closer, for sure.
right? It's something to consider.
So I think our motion brings that to their attention. So having said that, are we ready to vote on that motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So the motion carries to draw their attention to lighting with consideration
do
to the
something with the-
surrounding properties, right?
Notify them of the potential traffic, but that's not our purview.
And that, I thought this says that they're still doing traffic studies, is that right?
It did.
Yeah.
It did in the beginning of it, yes.
Okay, do we have any public comment? No. Okay.
Just that urgent cares close at 8 o'clock usually. How much light would be in the parking lot?
Okay, updates and reports. Kathy, your favorite subject is determine a date for fall adopt the road cleanup.
I don't have a calendar.
The can has been kicked down the road several times. Here's a calendar. Okay, so we are here. There's the 8th. This is October. If we want to look into November, let me know and I'll scroll.
No, I can see it right there. How about, how do people feel about the Saturday after Thanksgiving? Is that a bad day? Oh, I'm sorry, that's Thanksgiving this year is the 28th. How about the 23rd?
No.
Does that mean anything to anybody?
I think the week before is the last week that you can do it.
Of course it is.
Wait, you mean the 15th?
I believe so.
You're
I have it
kidding
on
me.
the calendar or on the agenda early because we have other groups that go out. I can only have 3 groups go out per week because that's all the, or per weekend, that's all the supplies that we have, enough for 3 groups. That's why I keep putting it on here so you get a date. I don't want it to fill up. Yeah, sorry.
I'm like booked. I'm a very social butterfly. How about the 9th? I think I have a wedding on the 9th, but I can't remember. I left my phone at home.
Of November?
9th of November, yeah.
Okay.
Wedding, trash pickup.
Well, trash pickup's always first thing in the morning, correct?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah, we were quick last time.
Yeah.
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock a.m. on November the 9th.
Okay, so
I knew you were gonna ask me that. I might ask Russ to help me. We'll see. It would be the 8th, you know, pick him up on the 8th and bring him back on the 11th.
Saturday?
Are you open on the
the
11th?
9th is a Saturday.
Veterans Day?
Did you hear what she just said?
I'm not listening.
She said
I
it's
was just
veteran.
making sure she was open on the 11th, it's Veterans Day.
Oh, the 11th is Veterans Day. I just have to drop stuff off on the 11th.
Okay, good.
What,
How long
what
does,
time though? I need to let Roger and the crew know.
Oh,
Sorry, I mean, it's a rippling effect here. Affects a lot of people. 8 AM, 7 AM,
7 would be great.
for both, drop off and pick
Yeah,
up?
that would be ideal. Then I can just go to work. That'd be great.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Where's it gonna be located?
We do,
Reading Drive or
yeah, Reddington, Reading.
Road or
Reading.
Reading Drive?
Reddington Road?
Reading.
Oh, Reading.
You go past a giant, it's the very
Oh, yeah,
first
yeah.
road, remember?
The same
Yeah,
as
same
last
road.
time?
Yeah,
Same
yeah,
place,
that's the
yes.
road.
Okay.
And we'll meet at the same place, right where that little bridge is?
Yep.
Bridges, yeah.
Got it.
Same back channel, same back time.
This brings us to Alan, Climate Action Plan. Do you have anything to report, Alan?
Yeah, I have some stuff to say.
I'm listening.
First of all,
Yeah, coming.
I'd like to say something about the stormwater plan, the Act 167 watersheds assessment. Finally, they got the questionnaire that they want filled out, that Lehigh Valley Planning Commission wants Lower Saucon Township to fill out. They finally got that questionnaire to me, and then I got it to the manager. So the manager has it, and she has assigned our engineer and our Public Works Department to work on coming up with the information needed to complete that survey. And I have a copy of the survey here. I can pass it around, and you can see that it's, pretty extensive. Does anybody want a copy to take home?
Yes.
You want one?
Yes.
Yeah, I probably can find another one someplace at home. Okay, so that's in the hands of the township. So, the next thing I wanted to talk about is climate warming. Did anybody read the latest greenhouse gas estimate report from Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, the 2024 greenhouse gas emissions report? No? Well, it's on their website under the, you go to environment, then you go to climate action, and then it's there. So I wrote down a couple things here that I thought I would mention to get you to, so you can get an idea of what's going on. So what I'm going to say is from the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission 2024 Regional Emissions Inventory Results. The Greater Lehigh Valley Greenhouse Gas Inventory shows community-wide emissions by sector for Lehigh and Northampton counties, Carbon County in PA, and Warren County in New Jersey. And all of those counties are in the metropolitan statistical area. The emission estimates and projections are based on activities within the entire Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton, PA, New Jersey metropolitan statistical area, with 2022 serving as the baseline year. So 2022 is the baseline year for the data in the report, but they didn't publish the report until 2024. So that's why it's called the 2024 Greenhouse Gas Emissions Report. So one of the terms that they use in the report is a carbon dioxide equivalent. So this is the definition. A carbon dioxide equivalent is a measure that converts the concentration of or amounts of other gases within the atmosphere to the equivalent amount of carbon dioxide with the same global warming potential. So I'm going to list here the quantities of greenhouse gases that are in the 2024 report. And they are listed in terms of millions of metric tons CO2 equivalents. Now, a metric ton, or they spell it in the CGS system, TONNE, which is 1,000 kilograms in the metric measurement, and in our measurement, it's 2,204 pounds. So our ton is 2,000 pounds, theirs is 2,204.6 pounds. So in the industrial, energy, and processes category, they estimate 4,094,165 metric tons CO2 equivalent. In the transportation and mobile sources, they estimate 4,083,797 metric tons CO2 equivalent. In the commercial energy category, they estimate 2,685,808 million metric tons. And in the residential energy category, the commercial, did I say that? Yeah. The residential energy is 1,530,462 millions of metric tons of CO2 equivalent. And the solid waste category, 223,609 million metric tons CO2 equivalents. Now, there's only 4 landfills in the Lehigh Valley, in Lehigh, Northampton County. Actually, there's only 3. One of them is in New Jersey. So there's 4 altogether. 3 in Lehigh, Northampton County, and 1 in New Jersey. And that's all I'm going to say there. I'm waiting for Kathy to pipe up. She can pipe up later.
I will.
Okay. In the agricultural category, it's 66,794 million metric tons CO2 equivalents. And the potable water and wastewater category, it's 37,749 million metric tons of CO2 equivalents. That sounds like an awful lot.
Doesn't it?
But
What, the 4.5 million industrial one?
Right.
no, all the million of metric tons, a million metric tons sounds like a lot. But anyway, altogether, the total is 12.7 million metric tons of CO2 equivalent. Now, I think I misspoke there. No, 4 million and 12 million, yeah. Everything I said is right. 7 million metric tons CO2 equivalent total. The report contains information on sequestration and carbon storage. And also the report contains a business as usual forecast, which is a type of forecast that assumes no new actions or policies are adopted for the purpose of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And the appendices of the report contain details about how the report was created. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
This brings Laura Ray to the forefront with the agenda item, the plastic bag ban update. I believe you had a Zoom meeting a week or 2 ago, so the floor is yours.
Yes, so I'm gonna make my report short so I don't start coughing, but
Are you sick?
I have a cold.
Oh, come on.
So
Let me
we
just,
met 2 weeks ago, and it was by Zoom. We met with Ferran Savitz from Penn Environment, so he gave us a lot of good reference material. And I think everybody's maybe digesting that. We'd like to maybe make our next meeting in person, if we can come up with a place that we can get together and talk. Otherwise, we'll set up for a Zoom again. So we really haven't dug in too far yet, so that's about it for now.
Okay,
Great.
thank you, Laura.
You want to say something, Alan? Did you want to say something?
I think I read this correctly.
Okay,
Wait a second.
you have something?
4.7 million metric tons. 1 million. I think I was saying like 4,094,165 million metric tons. It should be, I should have said 4,094,165 metric tons.
Save me on a correction.
All right.
And that goes for
thank
all
you.
of them.
Kathy, review of the tire recycling program, how that went.
It went great. Thank you very much. And thank you to Russ, and thank you to Laura Ray for helping me. We collected 93 tires. Thank you to the Lower Saucon Township Council for helping support it. It went very well, and it was a success.
So that's 93 fewer tires we'll see on the sides of the road.
Good job.
And some of them were tractor tires, I mean,
They were big ones.
One man brought four tractor tires.
Yeah,
One
couldn't
man
lift
brought 6 tires with rims.
rims, yeah.
One guy brought, quote, I don't know, he had a trailer full of tires,
Like 16 tires.
24.
Oh, it was 24?
He had 24 by the time we got done with him.
Oh, yeah.
One lady bought a brand new tire still in the wrapping that she didn't know what to do with. I kind of felt bad for her.
It's still in plastic, it's brand new.
But it went very well. And thank you to Ross and Laura Ray.
And everything with the record keeping went okay for you?
Record keeping turned out to be seamless at the end of the day. Carol and Kathy from Lower Saucon Township, I had resident lists. So boom, boom, it went very, very well. Thank you very much.
So did you use up all of the funds that were allocated for that then?
No.
Okay.
No. 93 tires, I should have brought it with me. I think 93 tires and 7 tires came from Hellertown. All the rest were Lower Saucon Township. So I don't know that Hellertown will partner with us again if we do it again.
Well,
But it also, the other thing is too, people were saying very complimentary things, and they were very excited to be able to get rid of their tires. They were very excited that there was an electronics recycling a week or 2 weeks later. And now that they know there was tire recycling, they were going to tell other people. So it turned out to be a good, easy day. It was a piece of cake.
Good.
Thank you.
For organizing it and pushing it.
Thank you for your efforts getting that all together.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along, review of the fall clean earth recycling on September 28th. That's you, Chad.
Yeah, everything went really smooth, I think. Thanks to Nadine here. Laura, Jen, you were there. Carol, of course. Kevin, I believe his name is. Kevin and Kurt. Those two guys helped me out a bit with traffic control and everything. And I lost count. I was trying to keep track of the vehicles, but I would say we probably had 75 cars. 70 or so cars that showed up, and from the receiving reports here, there's 2 separate ones, so I'm gonna, I guess, combine the 2 of these.
One was townships, because we handed in and paid for items, and then the other was township residents.
Well, either way, putting them together, we almost have about 6,000 pounds. worth of electronics that were recycled on that day in about 3 hours. So I feel it was like a successful event, even though it was a little wet.
It was fun.
It worked.
It was a nice day.
Awesome.
Jen
It was
makes
nice.
great banana bread.
Oh.
I
The
would
Don't put that in the
yeah,
face.
you missed out on the caramel chocolate chip banana bread.
You just said banana bread.
Well,
Yeah, right.
it had
She
bananas
was
in
holding
it,
out.
I held out on the good stuff.
So,
And,
but it was my pleasure. It was
and I
good.
think the one nice thing is Carol was asking, like, how did you hear? And a lot of people,
Oh,
believe it or
yeah.
not, the newsletter is really, I think, was,
Top answer.
yeah.
number one.
Another, and I want to thank you because a lot of people said about the tire recycling they found out there. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
that was
They
nice.
did.
Yeah.
So maybe a note for next year, we have things going on, I can put it all in a flyer, and then at the first event, we can give it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was very good.
Okay, and then along with other updates, reports, Jennifer, you're gonna report on We Can Serve PA, the EAC Fall Gathering from this past Saturday.
Yeah, so Laura Ray and I went, and I mean, it was very informative. It's a great networking group of all different EACs, and they have topics. And one of the things was reducing energy usage. And so LEDs are big. They reduce electricity by, in this Springfield, by 57% of energy. So, but there's different uses of that. They also put it in municipality buildings, looked at temperature, light usage. They had stuff that talked about the greenways and climate action and it's underground resources and stuff like that. So it's very beneficial, and I encourage that we become a member so that all of us can go. And I'm not sure of the pricing, and Carol, we can find that out, but it would be nice. There was some groups that showed up and they actually had shirts, and I'd like us to encourage and maybe get even a t-shirt that says EAC, and maybe come up with a fun logo for the township and our EAC. But a lot of good discussion. And Laura, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add.
Well, one of the sessions I went to dealt with doing energy audits. So it was very interesting. I think we should be doing that here at the township building. They also have a controls analysis that you can do, which we really could use in this building because nobody knows how to operate the HVAC system. And from what they explained is over the years, you can be like undermining how your system was really meant to be working so that it, you know, it's almost running 24/7 when it really shouldn't be. Like you're heating up too much and then you have to cool down and vice versa. So I never heard of a controls analysis, but that would probably be a good thing to do here.
Roger does have ours on control as far as on the weekend turning it down or up, whatever
Right.
the case may be. So he does do that here.
But the fans usually run all the time. The heat and cooling don't, but the fans
Well,
run for circulation.
it would be good to have somebody look at the system, I think. And then also we're proposing a new Publix work building addition, so it would be great to have that thing built to some sort of good energy efficiency standards. And then I also went to a session on meadows. Nothing really new to me there, but just, you know, you need to maintain them.
So it's a personal goal of mine next year. If we can't do a presentation for I have Lower Saucon Township be one of the presenters, then I at least like to do a poster. But would I like to do it as a committee? Of course, but I'd be also interested in just doing it myself. I'd like us to be more involved with the conference. I've learned so much from that conference. It's great.
Oh, they would love that. Yeah.
They start the session with a lightning round where 4 different areas present it like their hot project.
For 10 minutes.
It's really fun to see.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the sponsors that was there was, what were they called? With the recyclable, what's their name, Redish.
Redish.
So they had, like, for your water or coffee, tea, whatever, and for our lunch, snacks, it's all this plastic plates and cups and lids. You put it into a bin. This company picks up and takes it and washes it. It has a QR code on it. You can track how many times this stuff's being reused and comes back. So it's like a service they do in all over the place down in like Montgomery County. There's a lot of towns listed.
Yeah, but
So it's a pretty
Lutron up
neat
here,
service.
but Lutron's doing it, getting ready to implement it.
Yeah.
Here,
So, yeah, they're
very
looking to
interesting
target
concept.
some big businesses to take this and use this in their corporate, cafeterias and lunchrooms as a, like places that wouldn't normally be washing dishes and things like that, but they could offer this, and this company comes and picks it up daily or weekly or whatever they do and bring them fresh new ones. It was a really neat concept.
It's like schools and universities could
Like-
really use that.
Yep.
Last year, the lightning rounds was the Christmas tree lights and the batteries.
Yeah.
And the light noise. And the light noise was fascinating, but we should be encouraging the high schoolers to do like the battery collection and the Christmas tree lights. The amount, the revenue, or the amount of lights, I forget what she said in the pounds and how much they got back when they took the lights to the scrappers, the metal yards, the scrap yards. They got money back for the Christmas. It was really interesting. It was very interesting.
Okay, so then, let's bring us to old miscellaneous business now. We really can't take action on this item because it wasn't on the agenda, but we can discuss it, and perhaps if we feel that we're gonna have an actionable item, we can put it on next month's agenda. But Jennifer had requested information from Carol about what our budget might be, what our expenditures have been. So I'll let you take it from there, Jennifer.
Yeah, so thank you, Carol, for getting me that. And so I didn't produce a whole bunch, but just got one. Basically, sorry, I have to give you the right stuff. It shows from year to year, from 2022, basically there's 4 categories, which is fine. And the only reason I was more concerned is like, if there's items that were coming up, we know we have a budget. And one of the things that came up that I have highlighted in yellow is up until 2024, we weren't charged as part of the budget in this group, but they budget 4,000 and we're over budget by $2,391. And so I just thought it was good as we have these events that we're aware of it, as we have potential training and various items, that we have a voice and we get it back to Kathy so that we can look at, various budget items. And then one of the things, Carol, that I had forwarded an email to you just with some questions, like how is the breakdown of that 6,000? Just, what did we spend? So we had a visual on it. And then I didn't know what supplies were when it says EAC open space. There's a $200.
When did you send that email?
Last night, yesterday.
Okay.
I'll double. But the whole purpose of this, I thought it was helpful to know, because we want to join something like We Can Serve, or maybe we come across another training class that someone would feel would be beneficial. We would at least have the budget. It would still have to go up to council, but at least we're speaking with a budget in mind. And so, and there's various items. So like they said, take a look at it, and if we could put it on the budget to discuss more, it would be great. And that way.
On the agenda, you mean?
For next month.
Yes.
Thank you for clarifying that. But yeah, so
So-
now we know.
So for clarification, Carol, The projected numbers, does that come from the township manager then? Is that where those numbers came from? Because there's a column here that says 2025 projected.
That came from Kathy.
Okay, good. Okay, just point of information.
Jennifer, I don't see that I got your email, so can you forward it or resend it to me? I'm looking, I don't see it.
Okay, I will.
So what did we spend, if I'm reading this right, we spent $6,391 this year
Yep,
on community events?
yes.
Recycling and tire, electronics and tire, it
Well,
looks
the
like.
tire wasn't even close to, I don't know how much recycling.
Well, that's why I asked for a breakdown, because, just so we know.
The electronics recycling event that we just held was $5,500. And then in addition to that, everybody has to pay for their items that they're bringing in. So, yeah.
Wow.
You know, you can take your electronics to Staples and they'll take anything.
Batteries
They
too.
charge you.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They just take anything, yeah.
Taking TVs there.
TVs.
Well, TVs they don't sell.
TVs, everyone, I think,
Anything they
charges
sell.
pretty much.
I mean, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Do
you
you
have to go
know
see
that
it.
the county
Does have a program where we can get some money reimbursed for the electronics recycling. So that's $2,000 to $4,000. We should hopefully get $4,000 back. Last year we did get $2,000 or $1,800, but that was a split program between Upper Saucon and Lower Saucon. That's why we only got 18. So I think the max is 4,000. So Kathy will put in for that grant with the information that we've received.
Is that the same information, Laura? Do you remember when Malone McKenzie came to the Lower Saucon Township Council meeting?
Right.
And she was talking about available grants?
She kind of was generic about
She was
grants.
very generic.
Yeah, I don't think she
Is
specifically had.
there a place to look for those kind of grants?
We get stuff like that all the time in our email through
Okay.
ESATs and other places.
So you're getting fed opportunities?
I would imagine Kathy hopefully keeps a radar open to those
She's got a lot on her
specific
plate. Isn't there
things.
a better way to make sure that if it's like environmental related, like you could oversee that and kind of spearhead that?
Any grant information, you can always forward it.
Oh, absolutely, but
That's helpful. I mean, you are correct. She's working 3 jobs right now. So.
I just remember Malone McKenzie presenting herself, saying that there's money available for the council, but for a variety of different things. But where is that information? Like, I don't know. I don't know what she was I don't remember. I'm
Yeah,
sure I can look
I
at
don't
the
remember
minutes.
anything specific. I think it was a general.
It's a general fund.
She gets.
That she can spend.
Cause she offered. And also, do we have a grant writer or no?
Kathy?
Oh, Kathy is the grant writer? Okay. I didn't know if there was
Kathy's
somebody else out
alpha and
there.
the omega right now.
Okay. I didn't know. I thought we had a
Everything.
specified grant writer.
Is there any way that we need to assist in this?
I mean,
I'd be
if you
willing
see
to look.
information,
Drafting
you know, it's
anything?
always good to forward that kind of information. It may be something that she's missed or, you know.
Or could we, if we find something, would we send it to Kathy to see if it's appropriate before we start applying for something? You know what I mean? Like, if we apply for this grant, is this something that, you know, we can use in the,
I don't know if that's something that you would be able to apply for, if it would have to be the
come from
township.
her?
So I don't know.
Okay.
But at least forward the information so she has it, and then
Okay.
we can have that conversation at that time.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
any help is good.
Wonderful.
When are we gonna know the results of that grant about?
Well, we just got this information in, so now, it'll be sent to, the county, because that is a grant that comes through, Northampton County.
Oh, so you had to get the bill first and you send it in?
Yeah, we need all the information, the breakdowns, and then we send it with, the application.
Okay.
Okay, that brings us to the review and approval September 10 minutes. I went through any of my spoken words and made suggestions for Carol to correct any perceived mistakes, and I forwarded that file to her. Does anybody else have any corrections of the minutes that they would like to bring to Carol's attention?
I had just a couple, and I had thought I started writing them up at home, but I didn't find them. Just a couple. So page 22, line 43, it's supposed to say something like that's just early registration. Page 23, line 48, there's a question mark, which isn't a question, so just a period. And then in the second part, it says they, and that should be I. And then on pages 26 and 27, there's two spots where it said, where we were talking with Ferran Savitz. I believe he spells his name with one R, F-E-R-A-N. That's it.
I corrected mine on paper and I'll give them to Carol.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, so Carol, you will make the adjustments based on Alan's comments and mine you have. So, okay, everyone, that brings us to a moment where we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
I have one thing, and it's about Harry. So, question, is there something that we can do to help you? Or is there a project that you would like to do that we can help you? Like, how can we make this more beneficial for you?
Turn that.
Oh,
Hold on a second.
towards Harry.
No, this experience has been great. Something I was gonna say, I should have said earlier, was there was a point in time that I was gonna intern for Malone McKenzie, and I do have a contacts at their office if that could be of any help to anyone.
It would be a tremendous help. She was referring to funds that she received that she has to disseminate to the different counties and municipalities, but I don't remember all the details.
Sure, I could reach out if someone wanted me to ask something, because I've been with her to Harrisburg, and
Wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, speak up if there's something that we can do to make this a better experience for you.
No, this has been great.
Good.
Otherwise, thank you.
Very good. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks, everybody. This has
Thank
been,
you.
we're not out of the woods yet, but this has been a very productive year so far. So thank everybody for your initiatives and your effort.
Yeah, thank you, Drew.